Hi everybody, my name's Autumn and I am an artist and a naturalist, and I am back again today to talk to you about my collaboration with Busch Wildlife Sanctuary. We've created a program called Animals in Art, and for now you're going to find it on the computer, but hopefully in the future you'll be able to go out to Busch and see us all there together. But in the meantime, if you didn't see my last video, we made what was called a barn owl collograph, and if you want to know what that is, you can go back and you can watch that, and you can also watch an animal encounter that that's associated with that, where you will meet Athena, the amazing barn owl. Now today we are going to talk a little bit about alligators, which are some of my favorite reptiles. They're so ancient and knobby and toothy and cool, and printmaking. So we're going to put those two things together and create a really neat art project. But before we do that, my friend Crissy is going to feed the gators over at Busch Wildlife Sanctuary. So if you want to see that, I think I have to take my dog for a walk. So I'm going to run and take my dog, and while I do that, you guys can catch Crissy feeding those gators, and we'll meet back here in 5 minutes, okay? I'll see you then. All right, did you guys watch it? Those gators are amazing, aren't they? And Crissy is really, really knowledgeable. So now that you've seen what a gator looks like in real life, we're going to make a little art project based on that. Now, the kind of art that we're doing is called printmaking. And what printmaking is basically making a stamp. We're going to be making multiples of the same image. So we'll make something that's like a stamp, and we'll be able to put it on a paper over and over and over again. And today, the really, really neat thing about that is that we're going to use some materials that we just have laying around the house. Now, I don't know about you, but lately we've been having to order food out, but bring it home, and so we have to get these takeout containers, and some of the takeout containers look like this. They're styrofoam, and I try to be really good and recycle everything that I can recycle, but these, you can't really recycle them, so what do you do with them? We're going to make an art project out of them, and that way we can use them. So you need one of these, a styrofoam container, or a piece of styrofoam that's clean. Then you're going to need a pair of scissors. And make sure when you use scissors, always have your parents around or an adult around to help you, safety first. You need some paint. This is acrylic water-based paint. If you have printmaker's ink, that is fabulous. But if you don't, you can use acrylic ink. This is, again, water-based, and it's thick. Watercolor paint won't work, it's too thin. But that being said, you are using paint. Even though it's water-based, if you get it on your clothes, it will not come off. So make sure that you're wearing something that you don't mind getting a little dirty, and you cover your surfaces. You will also need a paintbrush or a sponge, or what I have is a brayer, which is a fancy word for a paint roller. So you can use a paint roller, anything to get paint onto a surface. And then, of course, you will need a piece of paper and a ballpoint pen. That is the second most important thing after the styrofoam. So now we're going to get started. Now what you're going to do is you're going to draw out your alligator. Now as you can see here in this video, I sketched out my alligator on a piece of the styrofoam that I cut out to a little rectangular shape. You can cut it to whatever shape you want. And I pushed hard enough with the ballpoint pen to make indents, but not so hard that I went through it. Because if I push too hard, I'm going to put a hole right through it, and that's not going to make for a good paint holding surface, right? So when I finished tracing that out, I got this, as you can see in that picture. Okay, and this is just, you can see how big it is. And then I took my brayer and I put some paint out onto a piece of cardboard so that I could roll that paint out. And I rolled that brayer all over that paint. I got it nice and filled with paint. And then I took my little stamp of an alligator and I covered it in the paint. And then, as you can see in this video, I pushed it onto the piece of paper and rubbed it really good. And then I peeled it off, and then I had an image like this. So as you can see, it's super, super easy. And what's really neat about this is you can get all of the dimples in the alligator. You see all of the rough surface stuff. So make sure you put a lot of texture in your image on your little piece of styrofoam. And when you're done, you can always wash it off if you're real delicate and print it again in a different color. And you can do it over and over and over again for as long as you want. Now, I also made this one. I wanted to show you guys this because there's something different about this one. And what is that? What's weird about that image? The words are backwards, right? So it's a mirror image of what I'm going to print on my paper. If I would have carved the words into this thing and I would have carved them going the right way, when I put them on the paper and I made that mirror image, they would have come out backwards, and then I would have been like, oh, the only way I can look at this is to put it in a mirror and read it. So make sure, if you're going to use words, that you write them backwards, which is a really cool brain exercise, right? So, as you can see, this one printed out like this. It's a much smaller. I cut it to a different size, but you can always cut yours in any shape you want. It would be really, really neat if you cut all around the alligator and you actually made just one big stamp of the shape of an alligator. How cool would that be? And now you can make art for your house. You can make cards to send out to people. You can even send some to the animals over at Busch Wildlife. They would love to hear from you. And that's it. It's just that easy. All right, you guys. Thank you for watching, and stay safe out there, okay? I'll see you next time. Bye.